Good morning, listeners. It is that time of the week again where we chat about this, that, and everything that interests you and that concerns you. So, thank you for spending your time with me this morning. It's much appreciated. We had a very interesting request, and that was to talk about leadership and developing leadership skills. Now, leadership is often intertwined with management. So we will talk about managerial competencies. However, I just want to draw the distinction here between being a manager and a leader. A manager, obviously, manages things. You say this needs to be done, that needs to be done, how it needs to be done, when it needs to be done. You are managing a specific task or project and team. Now, a leader is someone who has a vision. Managers are not necessarily leaders, and if you are working in a company situation, you may be able to identify those managers that are also leaders and those that aren't. So a leader also has a vision. A leader can influence people to share his vision or her vision and to do the necessary activities that will bring that vision to reality, to fruition, if you will. So let's look at managerial competencies that are in the business world referred to as the 6 basic managerial competencies that would also be leadership skills, the hard skills. The first one is, as always, very important, the communication skill. How do we communicate? And we've chatted about this before, listeners. And if you need me to chat a bit more about this, please send that request in. But communication is so important. What we say, how we say it, how we persuade people to buy into what we are selling, if you will. How we listen. If you want to be a leader, you also have to listen to what the people around you are saying. You cannot ride roughshod over that. And we're going to talk about leadership styles as well this morning, just for a little bit. The second competency or skill is planning and administration. A leader that cannot plan and does not have the administrative competency or skill to lead, to manage, is going to find that very, very difficult. So you need to be able to plan, you need to be able to have that strategic planning, which we'll get to, and you need to be able to set things in motion, have deadlines, have specific outcomes at specific times. The third one is team building skill. A leader, you cannot be a leader if there's no one to lead. So by implication, if you're a leader, you have a team. You have people that are looking to you to say, what now? What do we need to do? How do we need to do it? And that team building skill or competency is again crucial in this role as a leader/manager. Because if your team members don't get on, if they don't have role clarity, and if they don't have goal clarity and they're buying into that, then you have a big problem. So if you have a team, everybody needs to know we are all working towards achieving a certain outcome, a certain goal. We may have different roles in that process, but we're a team and we complement each other. We cannot work against each other. The next one is strategic planning. And this is fascinating because the difference between planning and strategic planning is this. Let's say I want to chop a tree down. I can plan to do it, and this is a planning skill. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to trim the branches on the left. I'm going to trim the branches on the right. And then I'm going to cart away the branches and my tree will be trimmed. That is planning. Strategic planning asks the question, why? So I want to chop the tree down. Why? And that is so crucial because now I may say Because I would like more sun in my office. And then the answer can be, well, you don't have to chop the tree down. You just have to prune a couple of branches. And then you will achieve that object of allowing more sun or more light in. So asking the question why is what differentiates between an ordinary plan and a strategic plan. Okay. The fifth one is a broader awareness skill, so that you have a national and international and industrial. So in the industry that you are in the field you are in, you have a broader awareness of what is happening. So let's say, for example, I'm in the business of selling pens. Then that broader awareness will allow me to know what is the latest trend in pens, what is the latest technology, where are pens going, what should they feel like, what ink should be used, should it be a gel pen, etc., etc. So you have a broader awareness of what's happening within the field that you are in. And then the last one, but also equally important to the others, is the self-management skill or competency. If I can't manage myself, I cannot manage others. If I can't lead by example, I will have no followers. And that self-management competency includes things like being punctual, being able to deliver certain outcomes on time, being able to look after myself as far as my appearance goes. If you're looking slovenly and you arrive at work looking like you've crawled out of the washing basket, you are not an inspirational leader. So leadership skills would then be, and I'm just going to recap, communication, planning and administration, team building, strategic planning, a broader awareness, and self-management. And as I say, the self-management is equally important to everything else, because people look at us and they form an opinion. Whether you like it or not, as I say, you have got an image, whether you like it or not, so you might as well work at having a positive image of someone who has the necessary skills to be a good inspirational leader. And then we go to the leadership styles. And a leadership style is the way in which you lead. Obviously, the style that you use. And they all have a place, and we are all a mixture of these leadership styles. So let me describe a few to you. The first is a democratic leadership style, and that's pretty obvious. Majority rules, the managers or leaders let their employees participate in the decision-making process. We have a chat about it, we have a vote, and the majority votes is then where we will go. Next one is transformative. Transformative leaders are innovative, and they believe in change and growth. And again, that has a place depending on the industry that you are in. Coaching style. The coaching style is like, let's say, a sports coach. Here the leader works on the long-term professional development of the individuals in his team or in his organization. Next is autocratic. This is a person who says, that's how it's going to be done. That's when it's going to be done. That's how I want it done, and it's not up for debate. So again, it has a place, let's say, for example, the uniformed services. You can't have a fire chief walking in and saying, listen, chaps, there's the building is on fire. Who feels like fighting it this morning? And those of you who don't, well, you can relax and enjoy your coffee. That is not going to work. Or if you are in charge of the defense force, you can't say, well, who feels like, going to war this morning and who doesn't? It has to be right. Everybody report for duty. We're all shipping off to fight the war or fight the fire or whatever. So uniformed services are generally autocratic. There's a leader, he dictates, the rest of us follow. There are times in in any situation where a leader or a manager will be a little bit autocratic, where they say, right, this is what needs to be done, this is when it needs to be done, make it happen. But that is the exception and does not form the leadership style of that particular leader. Then we have the laissez-faire. Now, laissez-faire means easy go, skippity through the forest kind of thing. So laissez-faire leaders have a hands-off approach. They trust their staff, their followers, their team to do their work without being supervised. So they're hands-off. You know what to do. I know you will do it. Get on with it. I don't need to monitor you. And then lastly, the charismatic leader. These are often, as we have seen, unfortunately, with more negative than positive consequences, religious cults, where the leader can persuade through the sheer charisma of his personality to follow him into all sorts of weird and wonderful decisions and lifestyles, with no real solid foundation to it. It's just the force of personality. And to a certain degree, and this I mean with the greatest respect, Nelson Mandela was a charismatic leader. He had the ability to persuade people to see things his way. And he did it with great positive results and positive effect. So charisma is then also a leadership style where somebody is just so engaging that we can't help but buy into what they are saying. So those are not exhaustive, but those are the most common leadership styles that we have. So to answer the listener's question, leadership skills is a skill set that we can define. Those skills need to be developed, and if you are interested, I would suggest that you see a coach or a mentor that can help you acquire those skills so that you can become a really successful leader. They are scarce. Really good leaders are scarce. A lot of people are managers, but they are not necessarily leaders. And you adhere to the rules and regulations that they set because it's a hierarchy, but you don't necessarily see them as a leader. That is a very special skill that people acquire when they take the time and the trouble to acquire these leadership skills, and then to get cozy with the different leadership styles and their advantages and disadvantages. Because, as I say, in every organization, there ought to be situations where the leader, the manager, is democratic and he allows people to vote and take part. Transformative, coaching, autocratic, laissez-faire, and charismatic. Those are the styles which come into play in different circumstances within an organization and coming from a particular leader, although the overall style may be more dominant as, let's say, democratic or coaching or whatever. So I hope that was useful. I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into leadership skills, how to acquire them, what they mean, and how they play out in our everyday life. If you need more information, please don't hesitate to contact me. I will gladly assist anybody who wants more information on leadership and leadership skills and styles. And of course, please keep the requests coming in, and we can deviate a little bit into other areas, as you saw, into things like leadership. So please, listeners, keep your requests coming. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend ahead. And remember, you can catch this on Spotify and on YouTube.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.